All right, good morning everybody. It is, I won't say it's cold, it's chilly, but it is windy out here today. I'm sure you guys are hearing it in the mic. It's breezy in here. It's not too bad behind these trees in here where we're at, but I was out there in that field where the truck is parked and it was, whew, I had the hood up. It's chilly. So today we've got a little pond project. I haven't cut a pond in a minute. Typically that's more spring going into summer and then early fall kind of work, but yeah, we got a pond to cut. And so this is a client that I've done some work for. He was the one that we did all that mulching for behind his house. He had all that junk that we hauled off in his dump trailer. So this is just down the road from his property, and his family's got this land right here with a nice little pond in it. So he says it's stocked full of fish and just needs to be mowed down, some light brush. So I'll show you guys what we got and the setup, and then we will get to grinding. All right, got the mini out here with little Munchie. I was gonna do this with the brush cutter, but the brush cutter's all the way out at the farm, and I just had this at the office, and I didn't get a chance to go out there and throw it in the back of the truck, so no big deal. We can do it with the mulcher. It's not gonna change the price as far as that's concerned. But this would have been perfect for a brush cutter, but it's just like some brush, briars, these little small gums that, you know, you mulch these down, they grow right back. These little sweet gum trees. Somebody asked me the other day in the comments what a gum tree was, but here in the South, everybody knows what a sweet gum tree is, and they're just these little trees that grow, and they will grow into bigger trees. Like that tree right there, that's a gum tree. They will grow into very big trees. They start off as these little weeds and little brushy things, and they will grow into full trees. But you mulch these down, they will grow back. So these have been cut before, and they just sprout right back, and it's like grass. And then just some briars and a little brush and stuff in here. So we're just gonna mow this down, a little kind of rectangular lake. It's not very wide. It's maybe 30 feet wide or something like that, but it's really long, but not much to it. This side's pretty overgrown. That side's not too bad. So shouldn't take too long. And then the uncle, one of the uncles out here has got another pond. We're gonna go look at that this afternoon, and then I'm gonna bring the skid steer back. They've got a deer stand, little deer alley that they want cut back in that way. I'm gonna bring the skid steer back with the mulcher and do that later next week. So, but this is what we got, and let's get to it. commentary, because it seems like people have been kind of liking that as of late. So we're just kind of mulching along the bank of this pond, and I can't really get the stuff that's like in the water, but you can't put this mulcher like in the water. If you get water into the bearings of this mulcher, that's not going to be good. And what I found over the years, so if you ever get into this, I like to mulch with the mulcher, with the face of the mulcher if I can. I like to mulch with the face of the mulcher facing towards the pond. And the reason for that is because if I'm coming along like this, like right there, the mulcher's wanting to discharge everything back away from the pond, so it just doesn't throw as much into the pond typically. Now you can get a little water on these mulchers, it's not going to hurt it, but you don't want to bury it down into the water. The other reason I like to have the face of the mulcher, so I'll show you here in just a second. There's a little tree right there I can show you. I'm gonna try to just knock a little bit of this grass down. Oh. Yesterday was so nice. I was out there cleaning out that ASV and it was like super nice out. I stripped down to my t-shirt and I was pressure washing that thing, and it like the weather was super nice. And then all of a sudden it just got cold and windy overnight. I don't know where all that came from. Here's why I like to have the face of the mulcher towards the pond. So there's a little gum tree right here, and let's just say that was a bigger gum tree. You know, a lot of times when you're cutting these ponds, you're just doing like little small trees and brush, and I like to have it on the I like to use the back side of the mulcher to push. Like if it's a bigger tree, I can kind of just use the back side to push it down and push it away. You know, I can top it and push the top back out onto the dam and get it, you know, from going into the pond or the ditch or whatever. So that works out pretty good. You know, you can use that backside. You can use the backside of the mulcher to kind of push those tops or whatnot if you're cutting little bigger trees or brush. Push it away from the pond and get it up onto the pond dam, and then you can mulch it down out here and keep it from going into the pond. So like that little gum, I'll take that little gum right there and I'll just push it that way, you know, push the top out over here, grind it up, and then come back and do the rest of the stop. And that's worked out pretty well. Now, you can't always sometimes mulch with the mulcher like that, but if you can, it tends to work best that way. At least for me, that I found. You might have your own way of doing it, but that's what I found. Not much to this little pond. Told me they've done a pretty good job of just keeping it maintained. They usually have cut it with a tractor that's got a side cutter on it, and he just didn't want to bring that tractor over here and have it reach all the way out and be worried about it tipping over on him. And And his tractor, he said, was going into the shop too. And it was going to be in the shop for like a month or something. And he wanted to go ahead and get this mowed down before spring, I guess, so they could fish. He said they keep it stocked full of fish. I got a little brim pole in my truck. Maybe we'll throw it in when I get done. I bet all the fish are out there in the deep water trying to stay warm. Probably all that out there in the middle on the bottom. That needle grass is called that I'm cutting out there in the middle of the pond. I've always just called it needle grass, but I don't really know what the actual name for it is. I've got the auxiliary turned down to about, so the flow going, so the hydraulic flow going to the head, because I'm just cutting this light grass and these little brush stuff. I've turned it down from 20 to like 16 or 17 gallons a minute of hydraulic flow, and that's just making the machine a little bit faster and more responsive to me moving the head around. So I don't need a full 20 gallons a minute to mow down a little bit of grass. So the machine just kind of swings around, and I can move the boom and the arm a little quicker because I've got a little more hydraulic flow to play with for the other functions, because it's not all going to the mulcher. It's looking good. Looking good. That needle grass out there, it grows back quick. You can mulch it down and it'll grow back. It'll be back to that height within a couple of months. It grows very quickly. I mean, I'm gonna mulch down what I can reach of it, but by the time fishing season comes around, that stuff will be done grow back. It'll be right back to the height it's at right now, most likely. Making good progress down this ditch. Not much to it, or down this ditch, down this pond. So it's a pretty little pond. And so the river, the Waccamaw River is right back that way. I don't know exactly how far, I have to look it up on the map, but it's not too far. That's kind of a swamp area in there, and then the river's back there, but it's really pretty in here. It's a gorgeous property. The only bad thing is they're getting ready to put in a housing development right over there. So I know the owners aren't super stoked with that, but it is what it is. So let's keep on keeping on with this pond mulching. right, everybody, pond is done. Looks pretty good. Definitely looks a lot better than what it was before I started, that's for sure. But yeah, that turned out nice. Didn't take too long. Figured it'd probably take about 1 to 2 hours. I think it took right at 2 hours. And that was with me moving the GoPro around a little bit here and there, so to time lapse it. But yeah, that worked out well. The mulcher is a bit of a mess, but that usually happens when you do ponds. They end up just getting some of that mud and stuff in them typically, but no big deal. They're made for that, as long as you don't dunk the whole thing in the water. I sharpened the teeth before we got started. They're still in good shape. These teeth have lasted forever. I think April or May will be like 2 years. These teeth have been on here, and they're, I mean, a few of the ones on the end, you know, aren't looking great, but I mean, they still have life left in them for sure. So I'm gonna keep rolling with them until they die. So I don't know, we'll probably change them out here in the next month or two, something like that. But yeah, I probably will before cutting season, you know, because we'll probably start doing a lot more ponds and ditches and stuff. Come the spring, I'm sure we'll have plenty of work for this thing. So yeah, that worked out well. Love this setup. So I hope you guys, I tried to do a little in-cab commentary so you guys get a little, you know, let you guys in on some of my little tips and tricks and different ways I do things. A lot of times some of this is just trial and error, some of it's me just screwing stuff up and learning from my mistakes, and some of it's just me just trying something and saying, oh, that works, and no, that doesn't work, you know. So that looks pretty good. I didn't see any fish though. I saw some minnows in here the other day when we came by when it was warm out, but I didn't see the first fish. They're probably all out there in the middle. I don't know how deep this thing is. It's probably 7-8 feet deep. He told me they dug these ponds in like the 60s or something. They're old. They've been here a long time. Both of them. That turned out nice. Couple of duck boxes out here. Looks good. Well, let's go load this thing up. Hopefully I can get out of this field without getting stuck. I almost didn't get back here. I had to put the truck in 4-wheel. And I didn't know if I was gonna make it or not, so I'm gonna turn it around and we'll try to get out of here and go down the road and look at this other pond, and maybe do that on Friday. We'll see. It was so cold this morning, I about couldn't get grease in the machine. She didn't want to pump grease. Like, I was sitting there with the gun, and it took forever to get this thing greased this morning. I mean, it took a long time. So, but we got it. So all turned out well. And yeah, more stuff to come. I got a few more projects coming up this week, so stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.